It is a wonderful Wednesday morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning Rush and making Morning Rush your premium choice for getting your day started. It is, of course, Wednesday, which means today it is Women in Entertainment Wednesday. We love to sit down with the women who are making us smile every day, who are keeping us entertained and thoroughly happy. Now, of course, we want to know your feedback. Is there any woman in particular that you'd like to see on Morning Rush? Let us know. The feedback platforms are the Zim Papers TV Network Facebook page, or on Twitter at ZTN Prime, on Instagram at ZTN Prime. Now, my guest today is a young woman who is a contemporary R&B pop Afro-pop singer, and she is, of course, making strides in the industry and building relationships as she goes. Now, we're going to find out the importance of synergies and relationships in the industry according to her, and how it's been working out for her. Melyssa, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. Well, yeah, I made it, so I'm good.
Thank you for making it, yes.
Thank you.
Now, tell me, at what point did entertainment become part of your life?
I would say probably about 3-4 years ago. Yes, and that's the time I had just dropped my first single.
Right.
Before that, yes, of course, I was singing, but I hadn't chosen to be actually part of entertainment and say, okay, fine, I'm now doing this professionally.
Right.
So yeah, I would say 4 years ago.
Prior to that, if we'd asked you when you want to grow up, what do you want to be, what is your answer?
I had so many great things, I wanted to be a doctor at some point, and then I wanted to be a lawyer. Maybe one day I will be, but yeah.
Right now,
yeah.
this is what you've chosen.
Yeah.
It's great. Now, so you're talking about going solo and starting an actual career about 3 years ago. What was it that then tipped you to say, okay, this is the point, this is what I want to do, actually?
Okay, there was a point I was doing backing vocals for other artists. I'll probably mention Cindy Munyabi because the time I was doing backing vocals for her is when I actually started feeling like, I think I want to do this because, I would be with her on stage and I'm backing up and all of that. And just seeing her do her thing and everything made me feel like, maybe particularly because she's also a woman. So I could relate and I'd be like, I think I can do this.
I can do this as well. So, it's when you were backing, so you were backing as a hobby?
Yeah, because I liked it.
Okay.
It was a job, of course, obviously, but I liked it. It's something that I always liked. I liked to sing, so any excuse to sing for me was like, yeah.
And so since deciding to go on this journey as a solo artist, what would you say has been the biggest lesson that you've learned to date?
Quite a number, but if I'm to say maybe the biggest, let me think. It's not easy. For me, I think that's the biggest lesson. It's just not easy. I think maybe we probably underestimate the things that come with whatever, taking on a journey and all of that. So I think for me, my biggest takeout has been, it's not easy, it's baby steps. You probably think, okay, when I do this, then it's going to be boom, and then but it's not like that. So I think I'm still learning. Yeah, because I'm not where I want to be yet. So I'm still learning, but so far, yeah, it hasn't been easy.
Where do you want to be?
At the top there. I want someone on the street to say, oh, that's Melyssa, I know Melyssa. If you were to go on the street and say, oh, do you know Melyssa? Any song from her? And then they'll be like, yeah, I know this one. Someday.
Now, a lot of us feel like, okay, you know what, I want to be at the top and I'll do the work and I want, but when you look at yourself and you're giving yourself that pep talk in the morning, what do you tell yourself that actually makes you believe you deserve that spot at the top?
I think, number one, I think I'm talented. Maybe because I've been told I'm talented, it took me a long time to actually believe it myself, to say, okay, the talent is there. But also I've learned that, okay, yeah, I could be talented, but maybe the talent is not enough. So every single day, I try to do something for my music. Of course, I do other things, but I try to do something towards reaching my goal. And I say to myself, if God could give me the talent, and now I'm putting in the work, then why shouldn't it happen? Yeah.
Now you say that before you believed that you were actually talented, people around you would tell you you were talented, and this kind of comes to my next question around relationships and the creation of these relationships in the industry. How have you been going around creating these relationships that help you kind of move each step as you move towards your goal?
Okay. So yes, I think for the most part of my journey, relationships have played like a very huge role, because for you to get your songs to radio, for you to get your songs anywhere, it basically boils down to relationships. So I think maybe my primary relationships have been probably family. When then family introduces you to maybe, oh, I know this person who's in this position, maybe they would like to hear you out. And then, they say, oh, you know what, I think you're actually good. And then from there, maybe you exchange contacts, you talk. So that person will introduce you to the next person. And the entertainment, I don't think the industry is very big in Zimbabwe. So it's almost everybody knows everyone, because someone you know knows the next person, and that's how the network goes. So yeah.
What have been the most, I think, the relationships that have occurred most organically for you at this point?
Most organically. Maybe the relationships that I have created with fellow artists. Yes, because for example, if you are in a certain studio and you're recording, another artist maybe that records there that you look up to probably comes in, they're like, oh, you're the one who's been recording the song. I think it's nice. And so I think with artists, half the time, if not most of the time, it's easy to create relationships, because you've got the same interests. You're probably going to talk about a certain note you're singing wrong. They're probably going to say, I think this idea would be great. So with artists, it's probably easier to just gel well. Yeah.
Now you've been releasing music a little, not as consistently as we'd like to. But we do understand where you're coming from. But just in a nutshell, what has the journey to creation been like for you?
Okay, so most of the time, if I don't write my own song from scratch, I'll probably get a producer say to me, Melyssa, I made a beat and I think this suits your vibe. Then I'm okay, send it to me. They send it to me, I listen to it. If I like it, if I feel like, okay, I'm vibing to it, then I write on it. Go to the studio, record it. If we feel like it's good to go, then we release it. Yeah, basically.
Your latest single is called Tell Me. Tell me about it.
Okay, well, Tell Me it's quite interesting how it came about, because a lot of people say, it seems like you're telling a story or something happened. Well, honestly, I wish I had a nice story, but no, actually, there's nothing much to it. It's pretty much what I was explaining to say. Shamik's producer sent me a beat. He said, I think this is your vibe. And for sure, when I listened to it, I really liked it. So I just started bouncing off ideas, humming tunes, then starting to fill in words. And then I'm like, okay, what story would I go with these few words? And then I had the song. So basically, Tell Me is talking about maybe a colleague or a friend who you're very close to, and you probably want to take the relationship further. You feel like maybe we're feeling the same way, but the other person's not forthcoming. So you're literally fed up at this point, and you're saying, you know what, just tell me what you want.
All right.
Thank
you. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, maybe she's telling your story. We never know. Tell us, is this something that you relate to?